and welcome back to the You Grow Gurl Podcast. It is your girl, Kat, and I am so excited for you all to meet my special guest today. One of my dear friends, Wynesha, is in the building, y'all. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey. I'm too excited. Always too excited, right? Wynesha, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. I'm so glad that you're doing this, and this whole You Grow Girl idea is fantastic. So I'm really excited to share this with you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I appreciate you even more. As you all know, we are still celebrating Women's History Month. And so, what better way to bring on my special and dear friends that are killing it in so many different ways in their life as women, as moms, as wives. So, thank you so much again, Wynesha, for being here with us. Girl, how are you?
Whew, tired.
Yes.
To say the least.
Yeah.
But I'm good. I'm really good. I'm
Good.
blessed. So that's what
Yeah.
I that's what gets me through. That's what pushes me every
Mm-hmm.
day. It's just to remember that it could be worse,
That's right.
So you're blessed.
Yes.
So continue to strive.
That's
So
right.
I'm doing good. I love my job.
Oh yeah.
I really do.
We gonna talk about that, girl.
So I enjoy it.
Okay.
I love my child.
Yes. Let's talk about that. Okay, so how is the family? Y'all, she has a beautiful baby girl. We gonna talk about her right now. So
Yeah.
tell us how's all that going?
So it's going good. My baby girl, Raya, my little
Yeah.
Raya Sunshine is why we named her that,
Okay.
because that's what she is through all of, there was COVID, and then there
Mm-hmm.
was this and that. So through all of the trials and tribulations I have, still this blessing.
Yeah.
So we named her Raya because
Yeah.
that represents our little ray of sunshine. And
Ooh.
still, see the light even in the darkness. So I
Absolutely.
think that's what makes her so special.
Yeah.
So she is thriving. She
Mm.
is.
She is smart, y'all. Let me tell you, she is super smart. Listening to her count, listen to her kind of read, all those things, right?
Yeah, she's really smart. A little too smart, y'all. Okay. She definitely knows. Like the other day we went to the park and she was like, playground. And I was like, yes, we're going to go play. And she said, thank you, Mama. I'm like, oh, you know.
Yes.
You know exactly what you're
Exactly,
doing. You're
exactly.
very smart.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's amazing to watch them just grow and learn, and
Mhm.
she loves learning.
Yeah.
So I'm like thankful for that.
That's a great
because
thing,
she
Mama.
loves it. I mean, she wakes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, what is happening? What are you dreaming about? Why
Yes.
are you counting?
Yeah.
And falls back to sleep. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what's going on?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But she loves it. She
That's
loves
wonderful.
animals. She
Mhm.
loves all about learning. She loves singing. She loves dancing.
Oh, she's got that honest, y'all. We gonna talk
No.
about that later, but yes, she got that honest.
Yes, I'm trying to be like, stop dancing.
Right.
But
It's
she
in her.
loves it. It's in her.
Yes. Yes.
So she's great. She brings me joy. She's the reason I wake up with a smile on my face every day, and
Wow.
she's the joy I never knew I needed.
Ooh,
I never knew I needed.
that's so good.
Yeah.
That is so good.
It's like I could just sit and watch her sleep, and then in the middle of the night I wake up and I smile. It's just she makes me so happy.
And you're such a great mom. I am so
Thank
proud to
you.
see you in
Thank
this
you.
space as a mother. You and technically it's like because you've been a teacher for so many years, and so it's almost like those are all your children. But to see you in this space as a mom, Saraya, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
Of course. I want to jump into, we talked about a little bit about Rhea, but also I want to talk about like your why. Like, who are some people in your life? I know Rhea inspires you, but who has been some other people in your life that has inspired you?
So big person for me has always been my mom.
Yeah.
So, my mom passed away in 2008. And she was always been my inspiration. She didn't really have an education. She didn't go to college. She we like struggled when I was a kid.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I can tell you that I probably moved when I was in kindergarten until I was a senior.
Okay.
Every single year.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So we struggled big time. But as I'm older now, I understand she did the best that she could do.
Yes.
You know, when I was younger, I didn't necessarily understand that. Especially by the time I was a senior, like my junior year, I was like, I'm not moving.
All right, like I'm done. Mom, are we done?
done.
Yeah.
You can move, but I'm staying here. And
Yeah.
she's like, so it's just like I didn't understand, you know, what she was
Yeah.
going through and the struggle. And she constantly had, you know, 2 jobs just to get 40 hours. She was getting home. She was trying to, you know, put food on the table every day for me and my brother. We never went without. You know what I mean? We may not have had what we wanted,
Right.
but we had what we needed.
That's it right there.
And that was something that I understand now. You know, I didn't understand it then, but I do understand now. And she did the best that she could do. And she was a single parent,
Yeah.
you know, raising 2 kids.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so it's just like she really tried to give us everything that she could.
Yeah.
One thing that I do now with Rhea that she did with me is that when I was younger, every year my mom would tell us to go to the mail on our birthday, go to the mailbox.
Okay.
And in the mailbox, she had given us a card. So, you know, she didn't mail it because it was our house, but she just wanted you to put it in the mailbox. And then we woke up and we would always go in the mail and there would be a card from my mom.
That is special.
And that was really special. So I've started that with Rhea. Like I get her, I make a card her first birthday and now her second birthday. And then I'm going to give them to her when she's like 18 so she can read all of them. I'm going to put a picture of every birthday that we've had together. And then it has a little special something in it. So it's kind of a little different than my mom did, but it, you know, originated from what she did with us because that was really special to us.
Yes, of course.
It was really important that every birthday we got up and I was ready to run to the mail
Yes.
because I wanted that mail that my mom sent. But she didn't send,
Right,
you know?
right.
But that was really special. So she's always been my inspiration because she worked so hard just to take care of 2 kids and made sure that we had everything that we needed, like I said. And it was really important for her for me to go to college and to get married. She didn't get to see me get married and have my child, but that's something that she really strived for me to do and was really important to her. So I know my mom was always so proud of me.
Yes, she was.
Talk to her friends or anything like that, they would always be like, your mom is so proud of you.
When I met your mom, and I'm sorry to jump in here, but when I met your mom, that was the first thing she said. You know, let me tell you about my daughter, Wynesha. And I was on the campus of a college campus where she worked. And I remember her talking to me saying, hey, you know, your dad works here. You know, I know your daddy. And I was like, yeah, my dad is Jerry, right? And she was like, yeah, girl, I know your dad. She was like, you're a dancer. You know, I wonder if you know my daughter. I mean, and that is kind of like how it all kind of, and I'm like, yeah, like we danced at a studio together, but it was just, she was so genuine. She was so kind. She was so sweet. She was always welcoming. Anytime I came to your house to hang out, she was always there. We were always laughing all the time. But I love what you said about, you know, it may not have been the things that you wanted, but she gave you the things that you needed. And I think in life, when we think about all the things that we want, may not be the things that we really need.
Right.
And so being able to look at things from that perspective as balancing those wants versus those needs mean so much more to us than those wants.
Right.
And so I love that you have now started with Rhea with a tradition that your mom had, and now you can carry that on for her.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I literally just, because, you know, we have a lot of work and we have a lot of things that we're doing.
Yes,
so
yes.
Sometimes time gets lost.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, I just wrote in her card for her second birthday.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
I went back and I read the first birthday one and I was like, oh, and the tears start crying.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this every year. Like, I can't do this every year.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because guess what? She's going to get to a point where she's going to be like, Mom, where's that card?
Mm-hmm.
When she gets
Yeah.
5 or 6, when they start to really realize that there are certain things that you do that are so special, they'll be looking for that.
Yeah, those little things are important. We
Yeah.
don't realize that they're sometimes more important than the material things, to make a
Yeah.
card and actually write in it and just print out a picture of
Yeah.
a moment. It means so much more to people sometimes than the material things that we get.
Absolutely.
And starting that and helping her understand that is really important to me.
Yeah.
I want her to understand that. She's already a really kind, which is hard because some kids are mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's tough. We go to the playground and I'm like, oh, she's one girl pushed her down and she just gets back up and she's like, hi. And I'm like,
Yes, and here's the thing though, Wynesha, I would say too, it's just the way that you're raising her, right? You're raising her to be kind. And I think this is an area where a lot of parents, sometimes have, I don't say struggle, I wouldn't say struggle, but if we taught our kids so much more kindness, how much of a kind world it would be, right? When they
yes,
go to school, teaching them how to share and how to be kind to someone, because you never know what that person is truly experiencing. They could be very, very
absolutely.
different. And as you know, very close, you're close to me, I have a child on the spectrum. So it could be a child that has, some type of a development issue and
Absolutely.
they may not know how to interact. So teaching her kindness early goes a very long way in life.
Yes, yes, that's
So,
really important to me. I already see that it's already in her too.
yeah.
So she's just very soft and very like, I don't know how they know.
Yeah.
Like children know.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be one day and you're just feeling a certain way and she'll just pat me on the back. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, she
You're yeah,
knows.
she knows.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know? And
Yeah.
they're the sweetest things, and they just remind you
Yeah.
of that in a sense.
Yeah.
Children don't come out of the womb hating or being, a certain way.
Say that,
It's
girl.
taught. So
Yeah.
she is just the kindest little thing, and if me and my husband like even like raise our voices,
Yeah.
she's like, wait, wait, wait. And then if I like look a little sad, she's like, you okay? And I'm like, you're
Oh my
two.
God,
You
right?
do that already.
They know, right?
Yes, they
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, kids
Yeah.
are smart, girl. They truly know. So,
It keeps me humble and it keeps me remembering, like, hey, okay, you have this little person. So
yeah.
you're okay.
Yes.
You
Yes. Yes.
breathe real quick.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I know, baby. I know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I love the conversation and I really want to try to get into like your journey, right? And so I want people to know what that's been like because I've had a front row seat to it to be able to see a lot of the things that you've accomplished and some things I haven't, but I want you to kind of share, your journey with us and kind of what that's been like for you in terms of your work and all the things that you do.
Okay, let's see. It's been a long journey.
Yeah.
I never thought I was going to be dancing, let alone it become my career for the rest of my life.
Right.
I was a math tutor for a long time, but once I started dancing, I mean, my motto all the time to my students is a day without dance is a day wasted because I love it.
Yeah.
It is just a part of me. I tried. I've tried several times
To walk away.
to walk away, to move away from it. I
Yeah.
have tried.
Yes.
And the Lord just keeps bringing me back. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Right.
So yeah, I started, I went to Cal State Long Beach. I really, really wanted to major in dance.
Okay.
And I couldn't afford it. I couldn't live out there. I couldn't afford it. I didn't have financial support from home, because we were broke.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we were.
Yeah.
And which is one of the reasons why I focus a lot on saving.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like how it felt to be broke.
Yes.
It's like when you're 21 years old and a friend of yours gives you a Target card and you cry because you can get toilet paper and you can get, something to eat because you're just struggling.
Yeah.
And, so that feeling, I never wanted that again.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure, and I don't want that for Rhea either,
Right.
So I constantly, like, if I, like, being pregnant and then going and getting my credential at the same time and working full time still and being a full time student, that was tough.
Girl, that is like superwoman powers, okay?
That was,
Being pregnant and going to get your credentials and working and doing all the things like, girl,
yes.
S on your chest.
It was tough,
Right.
but I was at that point. Let me track back real fast. So
Yes.
I, once I decided I wanted to dance, I'd been teaching dance since I was 18 years old.
Yes.
Right out of high school was when I first got exposed to dance, really. Was
Okay.
in high school on the high school dance team at my school.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't go to a dance studio. I didn't do all of that. I
Right.
literally got exposure the first time in high school. So
Okay.
that right now too, me being a high school dance teacher, the kids at my school, they're like, how do I dance? I'm so late. And it's like, you're not, so
You're right
that
on time.
being right. Yeah. So I can be that inspiration for them too, because I started then as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, doing that, went to Cal State Long Beach. I had to come home. I had to
Mm-hmm.
humble myself and come home because I was going to school 16 units. I had 16 units. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a car. I did not live on campus. I was walking to school. I also worked on campus. So after class, I went to work in the dance department. I got a job in the dance department doing
Okay.
like secretarial work.
Okay.
So I did that for like 3 hours after school. And then I walked to the bus, got on the bus,
Mm-hmm.
got to Taco Bell because that's where I worked.
Okay.
So I worked at a restaurant until 12 a.m. And then I walked home from the restaurant. Yes, this was my first year of college. Yes, walked home, did homework. I probably got to bed around 2 or 3 in the morning to get
Jesus.
back up because my first class was 8 a.m.
Mm.
So I was like, you need to go home.
Look.
That's it.
Look.
I mean,
I'm sitting here tired for you, and I know that was a long time ago.
I'm
Lord.
like, I know you can do it, but
Yes.
no.
Ooh, the
No,
resilience.
we do not need to struggle this much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just go home.
Yeah.
So I came
Yeah.
home, and the college that I went to didn't have a dance department,
Okay.
unfortunately. So then I was like, okay, what are you gonna do now? And I got my degree in business. Excuse me,
Okay.
I'm gonna sneeze. I got.
Bless you.
Thank you. I got my degree in business.
Bless
Woo!
you.
Thank you. And then I was still teaching dance. I was tutoring math at like the local high schools in order
Okay.
to continue to pay for, school and all
Yeah.
of that stuff.
Mhm.
And then I started teaching at studios.
Mm.
And then I haven't looked back from then. Then I opened my own studio with partners and did that for 12 years. But then I still didn't have my own family.
Okay. Okay.
So I've always wanted kids.
Yes.
But I've constantly just put myself aside and my needs and for everyone else's kids. And I did that for years. I'm at people's Thanksgiving and I am over here for the Christmas and I am at competition and I am over here at this other thing and so on.
Right.
And I'm at the high school to watch the rallies and I'm at the, so I never had time for me.
Yeah.
And so
Would you say though, as you're talking about that, would you say those were certain challenges and obstacles in your life when you were putting things before
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I've always found it hard, one, to tell people no.
Girl. Let me
Yeah.
tell you about that power of no word.
Yeah, I've learned, but it took a
Yeah.
long time. And I still am learning because I still do it
Girl, me
now.
too.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, girl, yeah, me too. I'm working on it.
Yeah, it's hard when you constantly feel like you need to be of service.
Yeah. Because
You
it's in
constantly feel
you.
like that.
It's
Yes.
in you to be there for others. You are a servant leader. And so if someone needs something, you want to be there. But
Yes.
that's where we have to learn boundaries.
I know.
And that is more important. The power of no is something that I think we all are working on. Some people are
Right.
good at it, right? Some people are good at it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to master it still. So I get it, girl. I feel you. I understand.
Yes, some people
Yeah.
are very good at it, and I am not that person.
Yeah.
I am like, oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. I look at my calendar like, okay,
Yeah.
let me see how I can move this to Tuesday. And
Mm-hmm.
then let me see, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, you
Yeah.
gotta just say, no, it's okay. They're
Yeah.
not gonna be upset with you. That's what I'm trying
Mm-mm.
to still remind myself that
Yeah.
people will still love you.
That's right.
They're
That's
still gonna
right.
be in your life. And if they're not, then we're meant to be in your life either way,
That's right.
So it's okay. You
Yeah.
can't do everything.
That's right. You
And I think
cannot.
that's another challenge for me because losing my mom, I have a hard time not wanting to spend every moment with my child.
Okay. Okay. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
struggle with not being there for
Okay.
her. So I get home from work and then I want to spend every moment with her. I want to go to the park and then I want to take her home and then I
Yeah.
want to make her food and then I want to get in the bath and then but I've done no work. I haven't gotten
Mm.
anything done. And
Okay.
then I'm trying to put her to sleep and then do my work until
Yeah.
12 in the morning or, 1 o'clock. And then I got to get up to go to work. And
Yeah.
the balance between understanding that I'm going to be here, but I just, I don't know. I have this block where
Yeah.
I don't want her to have what I had,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
sense of I had some time with my mom, but
Right.
I still have those moments now where I want to call her. I
Mm.
want to call her on the phone. I
Absolutely.
want to tell her the things that I've done. I want her to know, you know, uh, what happened today,
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
don't have that, and I want Rhea to have that. So I
Absolutely.
struggle with that because I can't not get anything done.
Right. Right. Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm exhausted because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like trying to do all the mommy things so that she
Yes.
knows that mommy, that's why she's attached to my hip right now,
Right.
because I'm constantly just doing the mommy things and then I
Yeah.
have to put my stuff aside and figure out when I can do it. I'm doing it in between class and I'm, going to work and then
Yeah.
on my prep period I'm doing choreography
Yeah.
for, the studio that I work at. And then it's like in between
Yes.
classes I'm doing the choreography for the classes that I have.
Uh-huh.
And then so it's just like I get home and I'm like
You're whooped.
drained, I'm
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
But a 2-year-old's never tired.
Mm-mm. She's waiting on you.
She is waiting.
She's like, it is on as soon as mommy gets
Yes,
home.
she is ready.
Mommy's
And
gonna give me time and
yes.
all of those things. And then you're still trying to balance out. You got hubby time. You got,
Yes.
and so it is a lot, but you do a really good job with that. And I know that you feel probably like, ooh, some days I'm like, Lord, help me.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
does. He helps you and he gives you grace.
He absolutely does. He
Yeah.
does. I have to give
Yeah.
myself grace.
Yes, you do.
That's the thing.
Yep.
And that's what I'm working on it. I work on it, but
Yeah.
I've never experienced like loving someone so much.
Mm.
And to love a child, I mean, my God,
Yeah.
it's
It's
crazy.
different.
Yes.
It's different. They
Yes.
are you, you are them. Like it's just they're a
Yes.
piece of you, and it's so precious and so special. And we talk about babies being blessings because that's exactly what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And know this, Wynesha, is that your mom is watching you and she's so proud. You know that. She's so proud of you. And I don't want you know, I tell people this is a space where tears may drop, okay? Because
Yeah.
that's just what's gonna happen
Right.
here. But
Yes.
these are experiences and these are our real life experiences.
Right.
And sometimes it's very hard and difficult to talk about these things because sometimes we get to a place to where we just bury it sometimes and we just kind of just say, you know what? I gotta be strong. Okay, so when you think about Juanisha, I know we are, kind of wrapping up a little bit about your mom and the strength of your mom, and it is Women's History Month, and so this is my time to say, I want to make sure I give you your flowers as well as Mama too. But as we pivot just a little bit, I want you to kind of talk about, is what you're doing right now currently with teaching. Do you feel like this is your calling and your purpose? We talked about it, but I want you to kind of tell me a little bit more about that.
Um, you know, I question it,
Hmm.
but I honestly think it is. I
Okay.
think that uh, God has put me in several different spaces. Everything is kind of like, here's the season. And even when I
Mm,
think the season's not over, He
yeah.
lets me know it is. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to move on
Right.
and enter into a new season. I think that I have inspired a lot of kids. You know, I just recently I had an old student who was in the, Super Bowl. Yeah, so that was
What?
amazing. Yes.
Wow.
And his mom called me. I hadn't talked to him in a long time, and she called and she just was like, "I want to tell you thank you. You really guided my child, and the reason why he loves what he's doing so much is because of how you guys treated him." And that was just like, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
uh-huh.
Like I know, I understand. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So he constantly reminds me, even
Mm-hmm.
when I question it,
Yeah.
like because it gets hard.
Yeah.
I am the type of person that puts 100% into everything I do. 100%. And I have done that for other people's kids my whole entire life. And I know that I've made an impact on people, and he's always reminding me,
Yes.
and I get calls, even when one of my former students, who's my friend now,
Okay.
became an NFL, cheerleader, and he messaged me and it
Wow.
was like, thank you. I would just want to give thanks to people who I feel like made an impact in my life and were a part of my journey.
Yeah.
And those messages and those things that I get from people who are, now adults,
Yes.
and they're like, you made a difference. So I also have a old student who I taught when she was like 11 until she was 18,
Yeah.
who's now a high school dance teacher.
Wow.
And we're kind of going through this journey together. So she'll call me
Yes.
like, are you ready to quit today? I'm like, not today.
You
Not
still in it,
today.
girl?
But yeah, so we now have this friendship. And,
Yeah.
I'm guiding her through that. And she tells me all the time, like, you're such an inspiration. And it constantly reminds me why I still do what I do. Why people are still coming back to me. And it's really special to be able to kind of talk to them and understand those things. So I'm super grateful for that. And, I've been doing this for a long time because I also had my hip hop crew.
Oh yeah. Tell us about that,
Yes.
girl. Let us
Me and
know.
Kat was, doing our
Banging
thing.
hold up.
That was an interesting time. It was, in all honesty, it was a time that I actually really, really loved. I wouldn't, I miss those moments because it's when I also got to dance too,
Yes.
so that was, a good time of my life. But I was dealing with people who were 18 to like 30,
Okay.
so that was during the morning time. I had younger kids, and then 10 o'clock till 2 in the morning, I
Yeah.
had adults, and
Yeah.
I was exhausted.
Oh, I'm sure, because that was gonna be my next question.
Yes.
How were you maintaining? I would say number one, like, I'm sure you were exhausted, right? I know you love dance that much that you probably draw energy from the people that came into the room, and that's what
Absolutely.
dance does for a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
But also, you also come up with the choreography yourself, which is a
Yeah.
whole nother beast in
Yes,
itself.
it is.
And so what was that like coming up with the choreography? Can you tell us a little bit about like how did you craft things? Like what was that like?
You know, I'm still doing that now.
You're so creative.
It's still now, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
You have to really. I think that with back then there were a lot of like, even now there's like competitions that we went to, and you would get inspiration and you would see things, and then it's like I also had people on my crew who I kind of drew from when coming up with choreography, because
Yeah.
that's a whole different beast in itself, and I think the hardest part about it is constantly trying to one up yourself every time, because for us, we would go to these competitions and we would get first and second, and it's just like, okay, well, what do you do now?
Right.
How do you keep that? How do you maintain that? So that was always tough,
Right.
because I had to learn, and that's why I am now, that's not why I'm doing it.
Correct.
So then once I learned that and realized, everybody's not going to like what you do.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay. As long as you get across what it is that you want the audience to know, whether that is you want them to laugh, you want them to cry, you want them to be sad or be angry,
Right.
and that you get that emotion from them, then you've done your job.
That's it.
Because that's what dance is for me. It's nonverbal communication.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the flashy tricks and the this and that. Like, I'm trying to tell you a story. So as long as I
Ooh.
convey that story and someone, is touched by it in any shape or form, then I
Yeah.
know I've done my job. So I
That's it.
stopped worrying about the clout and trying to, win
Keep up with
next
a
year and keep up
uh-huh.
with this and keep up with the
Yeah.
Joneses. And now, kids are doing acrobatics and this and we're flipping over our
Yeah.
heads. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay,
Right.
look.
Right, right. Yeah.
I'm gonna just do what I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to evolve, so I would continue to take classes too. That was the
Mm-hmm.
thing driving to LA, and
Yeah.
taking class and because you want to stay, up to date
Right.
and keep up with your technique. If I'm gonna tell my kids that they gotta, have technique and get in class, then I gotta be the example.
That's
Because I've
correct.
always been that person who is not about, do as I say, not as I do. I have been
Say
that,
that.
I'm going to be the example for you and show you so
Yeah.
you understand that, I'm not just telling you.
Right.
I'm also doing it in my own life. If I wanted my students to eat healthy, I was
Mm-hmm.
coming to the studio with, healthy food. If I
Yeah.
wanted them to go work out, we all had our little watches, and they were connected to my watch and they'd be
Oh, I
like,
love that.
"You were working out this morning at 12 a.m.?" And I'm like, "Mm-hmm." And they're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're like,
Oh, I
"All right,
love
well,
that.
okay, you're gonna see me work out too to later today." And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Okay, good."
Yeah.
So I've always been that I need to set the example too, and
Mm-hmm.
not just tell you that you got to do it.
Correct.
But I'm not gonna live my life that way.
Right.
No,
Right.
I've got to show you that this is how you can. Everyone can do it. And I'm gonna do it with you.
Oh, I love that.
So that's really key to how I am with my students, is that I'm gonna do it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Even now at 43. Okay,
Mm.
don't tell nobody.
She still look good,
Okay.
y'all. Let me tell you. Let me tell you, she will jump across the stage in a minute, hit a split, get back up, twirl, do it again.
Even
Still
now
doing
in my
it.
new job, I'm like, okay, you guys, someone's struggling. I'm like, here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it with you. I'm doing the
Yeah.
jumping jacks. I'm gonna do the burpees. Come on, like, we
Mm-hmm.
can do it together. I'm gonna
Right.
encourage you to do it too. Like, we can get through this. And when we're done, you're gonna feel proud.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always kind of been my motto. And I still live like by that. I had a student give me a sweater one time and it said, be a hero in silence. And I was just like,
Wow. Wow.
okay,
Wow.
Lord,
Yeah.
again.
Another sign. Another sign.
Sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just
Yeah.
yeah. It was like, you're not. Then she said to me, like, you never boast about
Right.
what you've done for people or how you've impacted people. You just do it,
That's it.
and it pushes me to want to be like that too. So
Yeah, yeah. It's so crazy you say that because actually, sitting in church, that's something that our pastor brought up is that, you should be just doing the work, not expecting any type of accolades, not expecting praise or anything like that. Because if it is in you to serve, you would just serve and that's just it. And not be expecting someone to say, "Oh my God, I seen
right.
you," or anything. It's just who you are. And so, what I want to try to go into right now with a couple final questions for you is the first question is around like, what advice would you give someone that is maybe struggling with finding their purpose or, maybe just not sure of what to do in terms of where they are in life today? Like, can you give them a little bit of advice around that?
I think my only advice would be is I think it's key to do something that you love doing. Find what it is that you love doing, because a career is a long time.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a long time. And when you hate getting up to go to your job and you
Oof.
hate working, and I
Yeah.
have seen some of those people in the stores. I have encountered them at the counter. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
Mm-hmm.
when you don't like what you do, it's really hard to get up and be motivated. So
Yeah.
even though the journey is hard, like with this podcast for you, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you
Oh,
for
thank you,
doing
babe.
this.
Thank you.
But I know this is hard too.
Yes.
It's
Ho, ho,
hard.
ho.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it
hard.
is.
Finding time to do the things that you love is so important. It will get
Yeah.
you through each day.
Yeah.
And I know that I love dance. It's me. It is in my soul,
Yeah.
but I more love being an inspiration.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of kids need that.
Yeah.
I think in this last journey of mine, I'm gonna say last because I'm hoping that this is where I end.
Right. End your
Okay.
career. Okay. Okay.
Yes, is in the school system.
Yes.
I find that a lot of these kids go home hungry or they go home not to good situations,
Yeah.
and that moment in that dance class is just so important to them. So it's not about, for me in this stage of my life, about competition and
Yeah.
about winning and all of those things. Now it's about really being there for these kids.
Yeah.
And I've been there for the kids in a different capacity
Right.
along with competition, but now that I'm not necessarily in that realm,
Right.
it's very different. It's just kind of being that person for them in that moment that they need just for that moment.
Yeah.
So I would say find what it is that drives you every day. What do you
Absolutely.
love to do? And then even if the path is hard,
Yeah.
it's okay, because
Right.
anything great, anything worth anything
Yeah.
is hard.
Yes, sir. That's right.
It's hard.
Yeah.
You just have to keep pushing. Know that there will be light or sunshine at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
So it's just keep going. It's there. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep striving. And you have those moments. I've dropped several tears.
Yes. Can I do this?
Several tears. Yes, I have questioned it, but
Yeah.
I constantly get a reminder. Constantly get a reminder.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the right path. This is the right path.
Yeah.
And then even when the seasons switch, it's still the same path, just in a different capacity.
Yeah.
So that's what I would, if I could give anyone any advice, I would definitely just say find what you love doing, because it just makes life so much more worth it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think that's important and spot on to a lot of people who may be dealing with something right now, maybe uncertain about what it is that they do want to do, or maybe uncertain about what their purpose is.
Right.
I think for a long time, even like you mentioned with the podcast, like, I was very uncertain if I could even do this, right? Because it does take work. But when you love something so much, then you will do the hard stuff, right? And as you do the hard stuff, it becomes easier. Even before we even started recording the podcast today, right? I was doing the hard stuff, and it was just like, okay, I hope this comes. But it's all about just putting one foot in front of the other.
That's literally it.
But also to your point earlier, you mentioned about giving yourself grace. And I think that's big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I like to ask every guest that come onto the You Grow Gurl podcast one question to end the show. And GROW stands for gratitude, resilience, obedience, and worthiness. And if you could choose one of those words, which one would you choose and why would you choose it?
I'm going to choose all four.
Okay. All right.
I think they all are, a testament to every single stage of my life.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say resilience.
Okay.
Because there has been tough times.
Yeah.
And I think some people, let me just say this, getting past like a loved one passing away is hard. It is hard. So it's that grieving process is different for everyone.
Yes.
But being able to still get up and persevere and get through is tough. So I think that resilience is big for me, because I'm still dealing with that. I still sometimes even just see a commercial and just start crying. I'm like, why are you crying? You are okay, but being able to persevere and not just get stuck and keep moving and keep pushing, and know that she would want me to do more, and that she's proud of me, and that she wants me to be able to give my little girl, everything that she deserves too.
Yes.
It reminds me, like, keep pushing, keep going. You got this. You can do this. Times do get tough. They do.
Yes.
And not even just with someone passing, just everyday life. When life is lifing.
Period. Because it is a lot of times.
Yes, yes, it is. And you have to really just be strong and know, and strong in your faith and know that you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. And I mean, when you talk about life is life, and we use that a lot now because I mean, it's our experiences of what we're dealing with from day to day. And one day we could be up and the next day we could be down.
absolutely.
But when we can find many more days of being up than we are down, that just makes things so much easier and so much better. But know that as you're going through the down or the rough times, know that by finding grace in everything and knowing that, just putting that foot in front of the other, like we talked about earlier, is something that is also important. And so, resilience, girl, I think that that is spot on. Let me tell you, it is spot on. So, with that being said, as far as like our final thoughts for today, I just want to say thank you.
Ugh,
I want to say thank you for spending time with me today on the podcast. It really truly means a lot to me when my friends show up for me. I know that you probably wanted to tell me, no, just kidding, because you're like, it ain't on the schedule. Just kidding. But no, truly, truly, that was just to be funny. But truly, I know that my friends that have showed up for me on this podcast to share their story, they said yes because they know me and they know that if there's anything I could do to uplift them and be an inspiration to many that are watching
absolutely.
this show, and know that there is a testament or a testimony that someone may need to hear, especially when you talked about your resilience and the things that you've experienced in your life. I want to be able to help somebody. It doesn't have to be 100 people, it could be one person
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
watching this podcast and saying, wow, the strength, or who is this lady? Like, I need
Right.
to meet her,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so we are working mothers, we are wives, okay? And we do work every single day in our lives. And so I want to thank you again for joining us on the You Grow Girl podcast. You all, I appreciate you for joining us today. Happy Women's History Month to all of you. Thank you for joining, and I hope you have an incredible week. I love you. I love you. I love you. And take care, y'all. Bye.